Hello and welcome to Rate That Character, the show where a member of the Source Gaming team discusses their opinion on a character's chances for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So even though information on the game has finally dropped, we do know that there are more newcomers to be revealed, and thus the series isn't going anywhere. But do remember that this is not the view of Sakurai, Source Gaming as a whole, or any other member of the community. With that out of the way, my name is NantenJex, and let's see who today's character is. Earthbound is a weird series to talk about with representation. It only has 3 games to its names, but each one is a cult classic, and in Smash it already has 2 characters. A third one would give it as many characters as it actually has games, which I suppose Kid Icarus has as well, but that series might get new games, whereas the creator of Earthbound has definitively said that he's not going to continue the series, so it's very unlikely. However, what we do have currently is Ness, the protagonist of the second game, and Lucas, the protagonist of the third game. So why don't we round this all up by having Ninten, the protagonist of the very first Earthbound game. Originally fairly unknown, it wasn't until a few years ago when his original game got released worldwide on the Wii U Virtual Console. More people are now familiar with Ninten, and if it wasn't for Super Smash Bros., I reckon more people would know Ninten than they would Lucas. And just as Lucas has been etched into history by being a Smash fighter, could Ninten join him? And Ness? Well, currently, as Earthbound Beginnings only released for the first time in the West a few years ago, that technically makes Ninten the latest protagonist in the series for most people. He's highly relevant at the time of Smash's project plan, and in Smash for 3DS the new Earthbound stage was from his game, Magic Hand. That wasn't relevant at the time, so the likely reason for choosing that stage, apart from its iconicness, was because there hadn't been a stage from the first Earthbound game yet, it was the only one. With that mentality, maybe we could see Ninten as well, as the first game is the only one in the series without a character. He'd also be a pretty easy echo fighter of Ness. The two almost look identical, and Ness is very much a follow-up to Ninten. As many of Ness and Lucas's attacks in Smash aren't from themselves in their own game, Ninten has no problem adopting that moveset as well. Many of those moves could be performed by Anna, and then you just change the final Smash to be PK Beam and have it act very similar to either Samus's Beam or the Inkling's Killer Whale. However, the problem is they might be too similar. A lot of fans like to redesign Ninten, and they do this specifically because he's too identical to Ness. In the Mother 1 advert, he had a slightly different design, which a lot of fans tried to grab to, but his in-game sprite and his official artwork both follow the same idea as Ness, with the baseball cap and the blue and yellow shirt that is striped. Ninten also lacks a yo-yo and instead uses a boomerang. This could be to his advantage if they wanted to make a Chrom-style Echo character and replace his side B with Young Link's boomerang. However, it would make his standard specials a bit more difficult to pull off unless they just decided to give him a yo-yo this time. It's a problem that Ninten and Ness look even more similar to each other than Pit and Dark Pit do. And this potentially means that Ninten would be better off as an alt costume in the same way that Alf is. Except we've seen a lot of Ness's outfits already from the demo and Ninten isn't there. So unless he's unlockable or being kept a secret like the Meta Ridley outfit, I don't think he's got really much of a chance of being there. There are also a lot more Echo fighters who just seem more likely and will be prioritised over Ninten, including the likes of Ken, Shadow, Dixie Kong, Impa, maybe even Black Shadow from F-Zero. Ultimately, I think having Ninten would be nice as it would complete the trifecta of characters and games, and perfectly encompass the Earthbound series in Smash. However, there is very little he really does add, and being so similar to Ness, even more so than Pit is to Dark Pit and Samus is to Dark Samus, it almost seems pointless to have him. I personally would be okay with it, but I don't know if there's anything that they could really do to differentiate Ninten and Ness, especially as the rules of Echo Fighters means that their attack and speed and weight and so on all have to be the same. This might just make him in a similar situation as Alf was, and thus isn't worth making into an Echo Fighter. Thank you for watching today's Rate That Character. If you liked this video, then give us a like and share with your friends. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on today's character and give us a suggestion for a future character you would like us to rate. I want to thank all our patrons, in particular our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. A link to his channel can be found below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date, and always remember to return to the source.